Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Up Supercast Game Club. My name is Brandon, and I am your host. And joining me today, I've got Ills.
PG Power.
And I got Noah.
Yum.
And this week we played Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair.
We did.
Was it impossible?
Almost.
Spoiler right.
Almost.
No. Almost. But it wasn't. So Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. I chose this game this week, and it was released on October 8th, 2019. So not even a year old. So a pretty recent game, and it was released on the PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. So on everything, pretty much.
Not on Google Stadia. What the fuck?
Not on Google Stadia, not on Mac, not on Android.
Not on the Commodore 64. Jesus Christ, dude.
On everything that matters. I'm sorry. Is that what you want to hear?
No.
Okay. Well, I don't know what you want to hear, but it was released on those four platforms and nothing else. And it was developed by Playtonic Games and published by Team 17. Playtonic Games, the developers of this game. I don't know if you have heard of them or not, but they are a studio composed mostly of former Rare employees.
Yep.
The people that made Banjo, Donkey Kong Country, all that was good shit.
And
yeah.
you can tell.
Absolutely. And the Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair also is a sequel to a game called Yooka-Laylee. And the original Yooka-Laylee was a Kickstarter project. It was Playtonic Studios' first game, and being composed of mostly Rare developers, they wanted to make at the time for the original Yooka-Laylee, they wanted to make like a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. So a 3D platformer, lots of collectibles. Obviously, even the namesake Yooka-Laylee, kind of like Banjo-Kazooie, you know.
Yeah. They're also a partner team.
Yeah, partners, couple animals. Yooka-Laylee is a like a lizard chameleon, and Laylee is a bat, a fruit bat, and yeah, they're very similar to Banjo-Kazooie in that sense, where Laylee's always hanging out, not on a backpack, but really just on the back of his head. So that game, the original one, was a spiritual successor, and originally was released. And some people were disappointed in that game, because, you know, obviously saying, hey, we're gonna make like a new Banjo-Kazooie game in a way, had people's expectations were like through the roof, because a lot of people love Banjo-Kazooie, rightfully so, because it is a very good game. But so when the game came out, some people were disappointed in it. I actually played it recently. Now the game has gone through some updates and patches since it was released, the original one, and I actually thought it was pretty enjoyable. I thought it was a pretty decent game. You know, obviously Banjo aside, it wasn't as good as Banjo, but
It looks pretty damn faithful from what I've seen.
yeah, I mean it is actually a pretty fairly good game. I liked it a lot. So, you know, I think people's expectations were just very high on that one. So,
Well, I think it was worse at the initial launch.
and when it would launch, yeah, it was worse. And I did play it actually. I bought it at release and did play it a bit, and it seemed like the controls were not as tight, and the camera was a little bit worse. And I think they improved on those things. So
That's usually what happens. Like, the first impression is usually what lasts the longest. Good or bad. That's usually what happens.
Mm-hmm. True. So, I mean, if you go back and play it now with the updates and stuff, it is actually a very good game, and I definitely recommend it. So, but this game here, I chose this game. Reason being was, I had heard really good things, you know, and this is a weird, because it is a sequel to Yooka-Laylee, but it's not in the same style as a Banjo-Kazooie game, not a 3D platformer anymore. Now it's a 2D platformer, or a 2.5D game, you know, because there's 3D models in it, but it's a 2D plane. So now this game has a lot more similarities to the Donkey Kong series, the Donkey Kong Country in particular, and very similar to Donkey Kong Country Returns in a way, because that's obviously 3D. And there's some similarities to be had there, because these guys, Playtonic, a lot of them worked on Donkey Kong Country, so a lot of them were back, obviously now in a different studio, but working on this game instead. And that's really why I picked it, because not only did I hear that it was a good game, but knowing that people that had worked on some of my favorite games ever were working on this game, was like, yeah, I really want to play it. So that's why.
Yeah, I was excited about this game when I first saw it launch. Even though I didn't play the original, I just prefer 2D platformers to 3D platformers, generally speaking. So I welcome the change.
Yeah, me too, actually. I do prefer 2D platformers to 3D as well. Not to say that I don't like 3D platformers, because I do like them too, but given the choice, obviously, I'm choosing 2D all the time. So this game was made as a not they made sure they didn't use spiritual successor anymore to market this game, because they didn't want that same thing to happen, where people were like, oh, they're making a game that's supposed to be like Donkey Kong Country, so it better be just as good. And have people have that expectation again, and then get mad when it's not exactly that. So not doing that.
To be
this
fair,
game's closer.
They did pretty.
I think
they did pretty good this time around, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. It really does kind of feel like it, and you feel that because these guys know what they're doing clearly. So getting into it, you play as Yooka-Laylee, obviously, and it's a 2D platformer, and the basically the story is kind of simple here. It's a follow-up to the first game. Capital B, the boss, the bad guy from the original game, is back again, and this time he has a wand. This magic
called the
wand
Hive Mind.
The Hive Mind, yeah, and that controls all the bees in whatever the world is, the kingdom, I guess, yeah, and he's using that to control all the bees. He wants to take over the kingdom there, and you have to stop him. And Queen Bee tasks you with going out to get all the bees for the
battalion.
The battalion, yeah, to take him on. So Laylee is reluctant; she doesn't want to do it. But Yuka's more heroic, so they go out and do it anyway. And so this game, it is a 2D platformer, but it does some very unique things. It's not just level to level. There is an overworld, and this overworld is actually kind of cool, because it's like a 3D overworld. It's like a top-down 3D overworld, and it's not like those kind of overworlds where you just move your character from one level to the next and they just automatically move there. You walk around and you explore this 3D overworld. Kind of like Donkey Kong Country 3 in a way. I don't know if you remember that, where it was like similar, where you kind of explore it. But this is much better than Donkey Kong Country 3. It takes that idea, but expands on it a lot. And I really liked this a lot, actually.
Yeah,
it was really well done. I like the puzzles that you have to solve in order to unlock the alternate versions of the chapters. Like, it was really well done.
Yeah, it's essentially like just a giant level itself, kind of. But like, because you can find like battalions in it, and like you can get quails, not that many, but like there's chests here and there you can unlock. I definitely appreciate, and I like the overworld a lot. Like in general, like the overworlds that you can interact with the environment and feel part of the world instead of just like a stage select screen, definitely go a long way for me, and I really appreciate it and like them.
Yeah, it definitely feels like an integral part of the game. Like all the NPCs are there, and like the puzzles that you have to solve are actually pretty. They're not super hard or anything, but they're pretty engaging.
Yeah, I genuinely enjoyed it. Like just going around and finding the secrets and just exploring. You know, I liked doing that. Like I wanted to do it before, like going into like once I unlock like a new world, like I'd want to go around and explore the whole thing almost before I even went and did a level. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to unlock all the alternate chapter level thingies before I started getting the coin, the battalion guys.
Yeah. And each level, like you just mentioned, I mean, has like 2 different alternate stages to it.
Well,
And
one alternate stage, but yeah, it's
one
levels.
alternate. There's the normal, basically the normal one that you have when you unlock it, and then there's like an alternate one that you have to use the overworld to change something from the book, like the environment. Like for an example, there's one that's like has like on the beach, and when the tide goes over it, it changes the level. So if you enter the level while the tide's on it, it's like more water, or if you enter it without, and it's not just like the levels are completely different, you know. It's not just like here's the same level but now it's icy. This is like a brand new level, a brand new layout.
Yeah, it was very clever the way they did it, and it's very varied too. Like I was expecting it to be like, okay, so every level's gonna have a fire level or an ice level or a windy level, but like no, almost all of them are absolutely unique.
Yeah, I really liked them. Like you didn't know how the chapter was gonna be changed. Just you didn't have like an expectation of it. It was different every time.
Yeah, it was always different every time. Like I liked one that kind of used this was a unique one where it used almost used the same level, but you get to the end of the level and you see this like giant laser beam in the background, and when you enter the alternate version, you go back through the level, but the laser beam is chasing you, and I thought that was really cool. That was actually one of the harder levels for me.
Yeah, fuck that level.
That level was hard. In playing the actual levels themselves, I gotta say, the level design was great throughout all the levels, and all the levels were like really varied. You know, there was a lot. Like they were coming up with new ideas like throughout. There's some of my favorites. One of them was it just became like a vertical scrolling level, which I thought was really neat.
Yeah, there was like one of the levels got turned on its side basically, so you had to suddenly go up instead of across. It was pretty dope.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. I thought that was really cool, like going up the level and like
that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, to make the level like fall down on top of you. I thought that was really cool. And of course, there's a level with underwater, and it's just a lot. You know, there's a lot of different variations in like the level design, and the actual level design is very good, and I really like controlling Yooka-Laylee, both of them. Specifically, it does take a little getting used to at first, because they do have they have a like just a standard jump. They have like a ground pound. They have a little twirl you can do when you're in the air, kind of like New Super Mario Brothers, or
like Dixie Kong a little bit.
A little bit like Dixie Kong too, yeah. Gives you like it slows down your descent when you're falling. Gives you a little bit stay in the air for a couple extra seconds, and you can also roll, like you do a continuous roll,
a cartwheel kind of, like a cartwheel for Diddy Kong.
And then, and the combination of the one that you really need to master, this is the one that like takes some getting used to really, is that there's a roll jump where you can like roll off a platform, and if you press jump at the right time, you can like jump and you can jump further. And that's like, you have to know how to do that by the time you get to the end of this game.
It's a little awkward.
You definitely
at first.
need it. Yeah, it's but like the stages are like designed the way so like you can only time it when you're supposed to do it. Like it's hard to explain without like visualizing it, but
say, like they give you enough visual cues that you know when you're supposed to do the jump.
Exactly. Yeah, because like you'll have to roll underneath like this low ceiling, and then as soon as you're able to jump, that's when you can like actually do the roll jump. But like you can't just do whenever. Yeah. So like the game does a really good job on doing that. Whenever the roll jump is needed, it shows you when to press the jump button. So it's really good in that sense.
True. And that's just good level design too. That's good. Because
I kind of hated the roll mechanic like initially because like I couldn't stop his momentum like fast enough. I would just run into shit all the time.
I definitely felt that at some point because once you start rolling, you're committed to it. You cannot stop, like for that initial couple of seconds. And sometimes you make a split decision. Your first instinct is to dash away because you want that speed burst to like dodge something. And then you're like, oh fuck, now I'm gonna run into something else and I have no control, and you inevitably hit like something.
Yeah, either hitting something or kind of like rolling off a platform, like into a pit or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes you can recover, sometimes you can't.
It takes some getting used to. It's not like a bad thing. It's just
yeah.
You just have to learn how to use it.
Certainly, and and even if you do fuck up, the game is pretty generous with checkpoints.
At least most of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the game is pretty generous with the checkpoints, and the biggest thing you'll lose is you lose
the quills you collected,
or coins you collected after you die. And if you do get 2 hits, you get 1 hit, and then you'll lose Laylee after you get hit. She starts flying around, but if you are able to grab her before she flies away, she has a few seconds before she ends up flying away. You can get her back as well. If you do lose her, there's these bells throughout the level, kind of like Donkey Kong barrels in a way, where you can call her back and she comes back to you. Sometimes though, losing Laylee is kind of a pain in the ass.
It's such a pain in the ass.
There's there's positions where you're fucked and there's no way you're getting her back, and also it's hard to predict her flying pattern. She's all over the place, and you're trying to grab her, you end up killing yourself sometimes just trying to get her back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the mechanic.
Extremely...
I like the mechanic of having like an extra hit and losing something important. But I feel like the moves that she provides are too important. Like it's almost like a death sentence sometimes.
Yeah, you lose a lot of like your abilities. Like
you can't do the twirl.
You can't ground pound. You can't do the twirl, the floating in the air. You can't do as good as a dash attack. I don't think you can do you still can do the dash jump, the roll jump.
You still can,
Yeah. That's it. You definitely feel like very weakened when you're without Laylee.
Yes.
And also your anxiety goes up because one more hit, no matter what, you're dead.
Yeah, that too. Which is like, I'm sure it's an intended playing thing where you're like, there was times where I was like sweating. Oh fuck, I really got to find either a checkpoint or a B, or a bell. I mean. Like, I needed either that bell or that checkpoint because, god damn it. And then, like, there's sometimes, though, like, I'd get a checkpoint and then die right on purpose because I'm like, okay, well, now I got the checkpoint. I can just get Laylee back.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Fucking Laylee's flight pattern. Wow, what a pain in the ass.
I swear to God, most of the time it feels like she's avoiding you on purpose.
Man.
Yeah, because it's so sporadic. You just can't... You like jump into where she is and she flies to the other side.
And it's really annoying when like you get hit or something, and then she flies and she stays between fucking saw blades or something stupid where you can't reach her.
I fucking hated that
I'm
so
like,
much.
what the fuck?
That was like one of my most annoying complaints about this game. Yeah.
There was another time where I went through like there are some platforms that like it's like when you stand on it, the weight gives in and it flips down so you can fall through it, and then it stands back up, so like it's essentially blocking you from going back. And like a couple of times I would like get hit while I'm on the platform and it's about to fall. So like I'd get hit, Laylee would start flying, I'd fall through the trapdoor, and then I can't get back up because she's up there flying above it, and I'm just like, well...
Yeah, she just gets stuck like on just random fucking places. It's annoying as fuck.
Yeah. Sometimes you're lucky and you're in like a really enclosed space and like you get hit and then she like you instantly grab her back and you're like, okay, ooh. But like other times if it's like a really open area, she'll like fly to a part that you were just in and you're like, there's no way I'm going back. Like that part was hell. I'm not going to try to get her at this.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it. So, I mean, especially in parts where there's like a rush, there'll be like giant saw blades coming at you and you're like, I don't have time to fucking try to get her. I just have to keep going. So yeah, Laylee is a pain in your ass sometimes. She's a big help. You need to have her, but when she's running away from you, it's like fuck her. But yeah, the rest, like actually getting through the stages though, is sometimes difficult, but like it's not super hard. And the weird thing is, so this is like the main thing of the game, right? We didn't even talk about this yet. Where you could every time you complete a level, you get a B from the battalion back. And that B goes towards right at the start of the game. So actually, weirdly enough, at the actual start of the game, you're playing the final level of the game.
Yeah.
Which is called the Impossible Lair. And you get an attempt at it, and they know you only have, one hit, and, you're done. So you get hit, you die. The level is incredibly difficult, so you're going to get hit. And then once you do, you get kicked out of the level. And that's the final level of the game. You can attempt it at any point, but every time you beat a level in the overworld, you get a B added to the battalion, and that B provides you with one extra hit while you attempt the Impossible Lair. So the main goal is to collect as many Bs as possible to get as many extra hits as you can while you attempt the Impossible Lair. So at any point during the game, whether you have 5, 10, 20, all the way up to 48 Bs, that is the maximum, you can attempt to beat it, which is definitely different. I haven't seen a platformer try something like this before.
Yeah, definitely like the idea.
Yeah.
And,
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
cool.
you're gonna need those fucking bees probably, unless you're a platforming god. I mean, this is it's gonna be hard. You're gonna need them.
Yep, you are gonna need them, and even with the 48, because I did get all 48 Bs.
I didn't.
I got 39.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I got 43.
I still got like, I still had a hard time. I needed all those Bs. It's fucking hard. The last level of the game is no joke. It's called the Impossible Lair, and that game, that I thought it was just a moniker. And I was like, oh okay, yeah, whatever, right? No, that's you're not fucking kidding. That shit is hard.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest platforming levels I've played in like maybe ever.
Yeah.
At least in a very long time.
I mean, Yeah, it's expected because it is the final level of the game.
Wow.
Yeah, but like it's such a jarring difference from the main game. Like I didn't struggle with 99% of the levels, like the normal levels. Maybe like 1 or 2 where it was just like, okay, I have to like actually try and pay attention and time things perfectly. Yeah. But everything else was just like a breeze, especially if you use tonics. Like there's a tonic that gives you like a twirl, which basically makes the hovering mechanic with Laylee last like another extra 3 seconds, which is like makes levels a breeze. So after I was done collecting quills and coins and stuff, I just slapped that on, and I was just like breezing through the levels easily without like dying once.
Yeah, we didn't even mention the tonics. I mean, you do get these tonics throughout the overworld that you can use to apply to when you play the levels that can give you extra moves to make it easier. Usually at the cost of the amount of quills you get at the end of the level are decreased if you make it easier on you. There's actually tonics that make the game harder, like less checkpoints or
extra hit on enemies, which I used for like half the game because I wanted quills.
Oh,
the one that gives
enemies.
it puts googly eyes on all the enemies like they're like old school rare games.
Very much a rare thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's things that make the levels tougher or easier. When it makes it tougher, it adds bonus quills, and there's also like a lot of visual things like like different like filters you can
makes
put
it
over
look
the
like
game.
a Game Boy Color game and shit.
Yeah, a lot of them are very cool. Honestly, I played around and applied a lot of them, and some of them look really, really cool. But it's an interesting thing. I like the idea of the tonics too. I think that's actually very cool. Biggest thing with the tonics is actually my favorite tonic, by the way. I just want to mention my favorite one was the quill magnet.
Oh
quill
yeah,
magnet.
the quill magnet was
best
really
fucking
good,
one. Just brings all the quills to you when you hit like the giant quill things that like give you all the bonus quills. Especially the ones that like put the ones on the timer or the ones that like you like try to run away from you, they just just sucks them all in, and you're just like, boom, there we go. That was
actually, I wanted to talk about that. So in the levels with the feather, like the feather quills, the ones like the monster ones, well, there's like different types of special feather quills.
Different color ones that do
different
things.
colored ones. Yeah, so one like spawns a bunch that you have to collect in time, and then you get an extra bonus. There's another one that you have to chase after that's really fast. There's another one that just spawns in place, you have to jump on it to like attack it.
Yeah.
And then he spawns somewhere else. And then there's another one that just is sporadic and spreads quills everywhere. Like, there's all different kinds.
Yeah.
And basically, once you complete whatever that specific color quill does, you get like a bonus 10 or 20, or sometimes a coin, sometimes an item that helps you get a coin.
Yeah.
But I've noticed, like, in a lot of levels, especially ones that are like either scrolling or timed based, that you have to rush. If you complete those things, like, you miss the bonus or the reward you get after you do that feather, collecting all the quills from that feather. Like, you will not get that last feather because it's either spawning in a completely unreachable place, or it's taking too long to spawn that you have to move on. And I found that very irritating.
Yeah.
But thankfully, the quill magnet negated that. Without it, it kind of seems like you're not even worth your time going for them.
Yeah, but also they're not necessary to beat the levels. It's just
they're
to get
not.
Extra quills.
Yeah.
It's annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, after I got past like all the paywalls with the twit coins and all that shit, I just ignored the quills basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, getting all the play coins. Because there are like 5 play coins in every level too, and those are very similar to like the Kong letters from Donkey Kong Country,
or like Yoshi coins.
Yeah, like all the coins and
the banana
like the star coins. So very similar to that, and yeah, you use those to pay to get to the other worlds. So you do have to collect them. It's not literally like optional if you want to keep going through the game.
But you don't have to collect them all. You just have to collect like 100. No, well, yeah, like 100.
100 to unlock all the levels, yeah.
Yeah, which is half in the game, because there's 200 in the full game.
Yeah.
Between all the levels, which is fine. I mean, it makes you actually play a little bit and try to find the secrets, and I did like collecting them. I didn't collect them all. I got 120 something, I think. If I saw it where they were, I would try, but even after I got them all.
Yeah, after I got the paywalls down, I stopped caring. So I got 100 and then I stopped.
You can't use tonics in the Impossible Lair. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little annoyed with some of the twit coins, like their placement in the levels, because like you would see it, but then you couldn't like go back to get it. Like you would get locked out of them sometimes. Yeah, but by a trapdoor or something. Yeah. Yeah, and like one of the things that annoyed me about this game is that you can't drop through a lot of the floors. Like, it seems like you should be able to drop through them, but you just can't, and I don't understand
like
why.
One that you jump through, like a net or something.
Yeah,
drop down.
I don't get it. Like, why? Why is this a thing? It seems so obvious.
I don't know. My best guess is because there was a time like you're climbing up and there's like a buzzsaw or something, and you're like climbing up and up and up, and then all of a sudden you go past, and you're like past where the thing is chasing you, but on the left side you could see a coin, and you're like, well, if I fucking knew that was going to be there, I would have went up there and got it, but now I can't go back without restarting the level, which is a pain in the ass. So like I don't know if they did it because they're like, oh, like replayability, you can replay through the level and get it, but like I don't want to,
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, also, if you don't have the tonic that makes you keep your coins after you die, you can have even a harder time, which is why I kept that tonic on all the time while I was collecting the coins.
I didn't use any of the tonics. I just went through without them. So, yeah, I had to do that a lot.
I didn't like to use a lot of the tonics because I didn't want to lose my quills. I didn't want to use any ones that made it easier for me. So I didn't use any ones that made it easier because I didn't.
I balanced it. I found a way to balance it. The coin one reduced quills I got, but then I added the one that gives an extra hit to enemies, so that buffs it. So like I was actually getting more quills that way.
Well, the ones I used were the quill magnet and the one that when you kill an enemy, it like he spawns quills. So like you'd bounce on an enemy and kill him, and then quills would come out, and then the magnet would just suck them in, and I was just using that to get bonus quills, And neither of them added or did any take away. So those were both very good to use. Yeah. By the way, one thing that was cool with the tonics, you find the tonics in like the overworld. A lot of them are like hidden, like you have to ground pound in certain spots to make them pop out. Some of them are just like hidden, like they're just in plain sight where you have to figure out how to get to them. But like a lot of the visual effects ones I thought were really cool. Like I like the ones that make it look like old school, like retro style, like Game Boy or like NES, kind of like 8-bit graphics. But I found out this morning when I was looking at more information about this game. And if you go to the options, they redid recently. This was in an update that came out in April, and we'll talk about that update in a little bit. But they redid the entire soundtrack to have an 8-bit version that you could turn on in the options.
Nice.
And I was like, what the fuck? I didn't know that. That's cool as hell. Like, you could, like, put the retro filters on and play, like, with 8-bit soundtrack, and it's like you're playing an old-ass, like, game. And that's, like, cool as hell.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wish I knew that.
And then I found out that it was on Spotify, so I was listening to some of the tracks on Spotify, and like they just sound awesome. Speaking of the music, it's done by David Wise and Grant Kirkhope. I don't know if you guys have heard of
David Wise of Donkey Kong Country fame.
Yeah,
David Wise
definitely sounds like a David Wise soundtrack.
Grant
That's for
Kirkhope,
sure.
They both have done a lot of really great video game music. And they both work together on the soundtrack of this game. Grant Kirkhope's known for a lot of his stuff at Rare as well. Like he did the Banjo-Kazooie music, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Donkey Kong 64. And then David Wise has done Donkey Kong Country, Shovel Knight. Like both of them are just like they make awesome video game music, and like this game is like no exception. I fucking love the soundtrack in this game. I thought it was awesome. Thought it was like I really think it's like up there with some of the best music they've made. Like I think it's really fucking good.
Definitely fitted the environment like perfectly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, some of it even sounds like Donkey Kong Country Returns music, like a lot of the instruments. But I mean, David Wise worked on that soundtrack too, so makes sense.
There you go.
But yeah, I love these guys. I love the music that they make. It's fucking awesome. So I was glad they worked on this game as well. But just the idea that they redid the entire soundtrack just for a random update, and you could do 8-bit is so cool. I just wish they didn't like. I didn't know it was a thing until this morning. Like, I mean, if I ever do replay this game for any reason, I would like replay it like that because it's. Would really
you replay
cool.
it though?
Really good. I would, if I did replay this game, probably would maybe stop at the last level. I don't know though, because I do like a challenge. In this, I mean, like we said, the Impossible Lair. I just want to talk about
if you do like a challenge, you should do the other version of the Impossible.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, because there is the when you do the Impossible Lair, there's a switch behind it that can switch it from the not so impossible layer or the Impossible Lair. The difference is with the Impossible Lair, you take in all the bees you have, you play through it. It's separated into 4 different parts, where there's 4 different boss battles, and basically right before the boss battle, each boss battle is a checkpoint. So it's basically separated into 4 parts. When you get to one of those boss battles, it kind of saves your progress with however many bees you have at the time, and then if you do die, you can attempt to start from there with the same number of bees you had when you got there. You can start from prior and then try to get a better bee count at the next checkpoint, and it will save that spot again. So you can do that and try to get better and better. So that's the not so impossible layer. That's the one we all beat. The other one, the Impossible Lair, throws you in. There are no checkpoints, and you have 0 bees. You have no bees. You get hit once, you lose lately, you get hit again, you dead. You gotta start, no matter how far you got, you start all the way over. Now, that sounds impossible, right? Well, it's not, because I know for a fact at least some people have done it, because I know Gerard the completionist has done it, because he did play this game. But poor Gerard, when he did play this game, by the way, this was before an update that happened, the same update in April that added the 8-bit soundtrack. Now this update came in originally in the game before this update. When you did try the Impossible Lair, you would get your Bs, but there was no checkpoints at all.
Yep.
None.
You just had to go through it straight, yeah.
You had to go all the way through, beginning to end.
I mean, you could do it if you want to. You just start from the beginning every time.
Sure, you certainly could. So you don't have to use the checkpoints. Those certainly are optional if you say, oh, I want to play it how it was originally released. Well, you go ahead. So, that's crazy. That's insane. That even now, I mean, that would be really fucking hard. And that's how the game was originally released. I am very glad that they added.
It's insane. We have to clarify. It's insane because these levels are just so fucking dense and long. They're so filled with traps that it's kind of insane. Like it's not even. It's like 100 times harder than everything else the game has to offer. It's such a difficulty spike. It comes out of nowhere. You're so overwhelmed. Like especially in the first 2 sections. Man, that ice section fucking sucks. Holy shit.
Oh my god. Yeah, I was telling Noah about that. I was told to Noah. I said, Noah, when you do the Impossible Lair, because I think he was like halfway through at the time. I said, and I had beat it, and I was like, when you do it, let me just tell you, when you do the second section, that's the worst. After you get past that, it's not as bad. Because the second section of the Impossible Lair is the fucking worst. Specifically the ice part.
Long.
100% true.
Like, the ice section with the platforms going up on the elevator, and you have to dodge the blades, and there's blades on both sides of you, and there's going back and forth, and you try to jump, and you're slip sliding. If you jump off the elevator, it starts going down. It's a pain in the fucking ass.
I'm pretty sure they do 3 or 4 of those. Like
they do. The ice one is the worst.
Climb a chain. You have to go up an elevator like twice.
Oh God, the rope right at the end. I'm like, there's no way I could get through this.
2 ropes. Hit.
Yeah. But the last one, I was like, nope, there's no fucking way. I'm just going to take a hit and go as fast as I fucking can. Because I'm getting hit. It's hard. It's fucking hard as fuck. And there's people out there that are crazy that can do it. But the thing is, though, even with how difficult it is, it's not so difficult that it's impossible, but despite what the game would say. And, like, if you practice and practice and practice, sure, you're going to be able to do it,
Yeah.
It's not unfairly difficult or like broken, I guess.
My problem is that the game does not prepare you for it. Like nothing else in any of the levels has anything like this. It's like insane. Like I've read a lot of comments where people just fucking rage quit as soon as they got to the Impossible Lair because they couldn't understand like how this game did this. Like it's so crazy, and obviously these are people who played it initially, so they didn't have the comfort of the checkpoints or whatever.
The checkpoints. It's a very good thing that they added those in there.
Yeah, it definitely helped. Like I may have even fucking quit at that point. Because it's the difficulty spike is just jarring, and it's like you said, you can learn it. You can learn the patterns. But the Impossible Lair is so dragged out, and having to go through like the segments over and over and over again just wears on your patience way too much. You know what I mean?
And there's also that like, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick mention. Like, it especially happened for me. It was in the boss fights. Like the boss fights weren't hard; they just took long to beat, and like. There weren't, like, once I got the patterns down, it was just a matter of waiting to get through it, rather than, like, trying to get through it without getting hit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My problem was that, like, when you die in the Impossible Lair, like, everywhere else in the game, you have, like, these quick respawns on checkpoints. When you die in the Impossible Lair, you get a failure screen, a fucking you warp right back to the overworld, and you have to start from the beginning, or from the checkpoint. It takes so long to get back into the action, and it's the hardest part It's like when you're gonna die the most, and it's like, oh my god, this is so frustrating.
Yeah, if you can jump right back in like you do in regular levels, it wouldn't be as bad.
Yeah. And the other thing was that, like, the battalion protection, like, you could lose bees so fast. Like, you could not even notice how fast you're losing them. You can get hit by something and fall into a pit at the same time and just lose 2 bees instantly.
I said that to Noah. I was like, that's the worst. I'm like, I'd rather just fall in a pit. But if you fall in a pit and get hit, that pisses me off.
Yeah. Or if you fall, like, as you're falling into the pit, something just fucking comes out of the side and hits you before you fall. And you just lose an extra bee. Yeah. And also, like, you have less I thought it was going to be, like, normal, because when you get hit, you have some invincibility frames. You can take advantage of that and just, like, get through this really intense part, like, real quick, like, cheese it. But no, you have less invincibility frames than you do when you get hit normally without bees.
Yeah, it's very short.
Yeah. So,
Which, like, in the moment, like, you panic when you get hit, and, like, before you, like, readjust yourself so you're, like, safe again, because the way this level is built is so, like, to fucking deplete all your bees. So, like, the traps are, like, ruthless. So if you miss time a jump or something, and, like, you see that you get hit, you, like, panic, you, like, instinctively, like, jump again or something, and then you jump too high and you hit the saw blade that's above you. It's, like, things like that happen a lot in that level.
That's the thing, too, with, like, if I had to give somebody advice where we're playing through it, I would say do not panic. And minus the last area, take your time. Because I feel like that's what I started doing that more. And I started being very deliberate and taking my time to get through these obstacles. And it seemed to help a lot, at least for me. Like, so that would definitely be, like, the advice that I would give somebody else. Like, take your time, watch the jumps, learn the patterns, and you'll take less hits. Not only on the bosses, but even through getting through it. You're gonna get hit, but don't panic. Just try to take your time as much as possible, And also
the last 2 sections are way easier than the first 2.
Yes. If you get past the second one with a decent amount of bees, you're in a very good spot. Because the second one is going to be the hardest one. The third one, it's just a lot of buzzsaws and trapdoors. It's not that hard as long as you're taking your time and going through it and very methodical with it. The boss fight's not very hard as long as you know the patterns. They can be difficult at first because at first you're overwhelmed and you're trying to figure out what's going on. You're getting hit left and right. But and then the final one is just there is a timer, so you do have to be fast. But it's basically just jumping and watching what's in front of you, and you'll get to the end.
Yeah, it's like it's nowhere near as like trappy. It's just a segment where you have to get away.
Yeah.
The annoying thing about that final one is that final checkpoint, like every checkpoint starts you at the beginning of a boss fight. So you always have to fight the boss every time. You can't just like jump right back into the platforming, which is exhausting.
Yeah. That's what I mentioned earlier. You have to wait through the boss fight before you can get to the parts where you died.
I do like them tracking your progress of how far you get each time. I thought that was kind of neat, and like showing the percentage of how far you got and the number of attempts that each time. Although I had more attempts than I actually probably really had, only because like I would try, and I guess it counts. It is fair. But I would start it, and then I would take a few cheap hits on things that I should have dodged, but I just timed wrong, and I was being dumb. And I'd be like, all right, you know what? I took hits on easy shit. I'm restarting. I'm not gonna. So like I have way, I probably are up around 30 tries, but a lot of them were just me saying, okay, you know what? I got hit twice on this boss. Fuck this. Restart.
Yep.
So, but I do think it's cool though that they do track that for you. It's kind of like a motivator. Okay, well I got this far. I got to get further. But also, it is hard. It is very difficult. But if you do it, you're gonna feel good. You'll be like, yes, I did it. Also, want to mention the Impossible Lair, the one that you get zero hits. You have no bees. Before they added that in on the new update, you could do it, but you had to do it on a new save file. And there is a final tonic that you can only get by completing the Impossible Lair version with the 0 Bs, and you get a dumb. It's very pointless. It's the gold tonic. You become gold. That's it. There's no other bonuses other than that. You are gold. You can say, "Hey, look, I did it." But the only way to do it before was to start a brand new save file and to do it on the beginning of the game, because that was the only way to attempt that kind of run.
Jesus.
So
I mean, the secret is all achievements are pointless.
Well, if you're a completionist and you wanted to do it, you had to start a new save file, try it. If you fail, go back, quit out the game, go back, delete your save file, start it over again, and you'd have to go through the entire opening sequence, like through the little tutorial area and everything, every single time, just to get back to it. And I know Gerard the completionist did it, but that was before the update. So I mean, he went crazy trying to do it. Now you can attempt it as many times as you want without doing all the extra shit. To get. I'm
just glad every day that I'm not a completionist. That just fills me with joy constantly.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it, because that's insanity. That's just crazy. Because it was not even with the checkpoints, it still wasn't easy. You think it would be, but it's obviously easier and more manageable. But holy fuck. Well, I just want to ask you guys. Oh, I want to mention some of the other characters in the game. By the way, there's a few other characters, like a lot returning from the original game. There's Trousers. He's a snake that has all the paywalls that you have to pay to get through. He's a shady salesman kind of guy who is just out there looking for money. In the original game, he sells you like moves that you use to get through, through the stages. In this game, he just sets up paywalls that you have to get through to get to the new worlds. This is my least favorite character. She's the tonic lady. She's like what I assume Vendy. She's like a big vending machine, and she's terrifying to look at.
She looks like a character
carts,
from.
But
yeah, shopping carts were weird.
The shopping carts, those are weird too. They were also in the original game. You know what? Actually, missed opportunity here. There's he is in the game. There's like a minecart guy, and there's a level on his back, and he just goes around. But what the fuck? There was no minecart stages.
Yeah.
The original game had minecart sections that were like turned like 2D, and you ride in him, and it's like a minecart. If this is gonna be like Donkey Kong Country, why the fuck was there no minecart parts? I would have loved that.
Wait for the sequel.
That would be fun.
I guess
they did have a level that was like Bramble Blast. I think that was like where Sticklebush
blaster thingies.
Yeah, around like spiny vines. That was a cute, cool homage to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do like that. I did like that level a lot, actually. So I mean, lots and lots of throwbacks and nods to Donkey Kong Country, and fucking it fits right in with. Man, if only they could do Nintendo could do a collab with them to do a Yooka-Laylee Donkey Kong, or Rare could do a Yooka-Laylee Banjo-Kazooie. That'd be really cool. That'd be awesome. Some sort of crossover game. I don't even know what kind of game it would be. Obviously, if it was Donkey Kong, it'd be 2D. If it was Banjo, it would be a 3D game. But I think that'd be really neat. Did you guys specifically have like a favorite level in the game?
The Impossible
Lair. I know it was, besides the Impossible Lair, which I know was your favorite level in the
game. The ice section in the Impossible Lair.
Okay.
No, I don't. I can't remember any specifically. Like honestly, playing the Impossible Lair for as long as I did, that's the only thing I remember now. Like it's so emblazoned in my mind. Everything else got melted away.
I did like the stage. That you had to collect the gems or the keys.
Yeah, that was a nice little different change of pace.
Yeah, that was cool. I did like that. All right. Well, so we'll talk about recommendations now, and I'll start with me, as I chose the game. So, would I recommend Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair? I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a great homage to 2D platformers. Like Donkey Kong Country. And if you like Donkey Kong Country, then I think you'll love this game. If you haven't played Donkey Kong Country, this is still a very good game, and I would recommend playing it. The Impossible Lair is going to be very, very hard. If you need some tips, hit us up on Twitter. Like I gave you some tips already, but hit us up on Twitter. We'll try to help you out because it is going to be really difficult. Rest of the game, though, you're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be really good, so I would definitely recommend this game. Noah?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you said, like if you like platformers, it's definitely a game to try out. Going through the overworld is super fun, unlocking and discovering all the secrets. It's a good collector game. So, like if you like collectathons, this is a really good one too. Might not feel as rewarding to 100%, but still feels good finding all the secrets and unlocking the puzzles, or figuring out how to get all the tonics and stuff like that. Don't get too stressed out with the Impossible Lair. Don't feel like you need to rush it. Just take your time.
Okay.
Don't even attempt to fucking do it without the bees.
Yeah, don't even try. Unless you're some sort of fucking masochist. Don't do it.
Yes, I would. I would definitely recommend this game. Obviously, I would throw in the caveat that you need to just keep trying in the Impossible Lair because it's gonna fucking melt your soul. But as much as I found the Impossible Lair frustrating, it did have really good design and it really tested the master of the game's mechanics. So it's pretty rewarding to get through once you get through it. So just stick with it.
All right. Now it's time to take Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair and put it on the list.
The list.
The list.
You can follow along with the list and the Pastebin link that we're going to put in the description below. So every single week on the Game Club, we add whatever game we played to this list, this ever-growing list. And it goes from best to worst. We always have to find a spot. We also add a game every single week on our normal Up Supercast episodes. So we're adding one game every week, and sometimes, two games every other week, and then one game on the off weeks. So just lots of games getting out of this list. So we always have to figure out where this game goes. And I guess I'll start here. Let's look at it. So, first thoughts. This game, we mentioned, I think it's an incredibly good platformer. In terms of level design and controls and playability. I think it's just very, very good. So I think it should be... first thoughts...
Hello?
I just like my thing.
You want to put it near the Donkey Kongs, don't you?
well, the thing is, I think it's better than Donkey Kong 1, right? But I don't want to put it next to Donkey Kong, because I just think that's, so dumb. To be like, oh, it's like Donkey Kong, so I'll put it next to Donkey Kong. You know what I mean? But, no, I don't think it's better than Donkey Kong Country 2, but I do think it's better than the first one. But also, like I said, I don't want to put it, above that. And then, looking around the area of Donkey Kong Country, right? I don't think it's better than Shovel Knight. So I wouldn't put it above Shovel Knight, personally.
Nope. It's not better than Shovel Knight.
I was looking at around, Amnesia. That area.
I kind of agree that it's better than the first Donkey Kong. For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, I would put it above Rock Band personally, because I haven't really played Rock Band, so that's obviously I'm gonna put it above that. Mega Man 3, I think I would probably put it above Mega Man 3, and I would put it above Punch Out 999. I feel fine about putting it above those games. So I think my stopping point obviously is Shovel Knight, because it's not as good as Shovel Knight. I think Shovel Knight should be higher on the list anyway. But yeah, I think that's my stopping point.
Especially because it's Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, it's all the games in Shovel Knight. So
yeah, absolutely. That
Jesus Christ, the fucking King of Cards and Spectre of Torment are amazing games. So yeah.
And then I think if I ignore the fact that Shovel Knight should go higher, I would actually probably put it even higher. Like, at least above mid. Like, WarioWare Inc. I don't know, why
I feel like WarioWare needs to come down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a good ass game. What do you mean?
It is a good game, though, but, like, I'm not... Have you even played WarioWare?
I did.
Okay, I do like WarioWare. It is a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's definitely not better than Shovel Knight, though, so...
Yeah.
Nope. It is not.
Oh, what do you guys think? You think, like, I feel like that's the right area, you know?
Yeah, I don't see any
So what,
reason
below
not to...
Octopath then? What about above Super Mario Bros?
I think New Super Mario Bros. Needs to come down, but definitely think this is a better platform than Super Mario Bros.
I would be okay with putting it above Super Mario Brothers.
What about
And that's
above,
also with the intention that Shovel Knight should go up.
What about above Indivisible?
I put it above Indivisible.
Sure, I'd put it above.
I put it above
as well.
Tomb Raider too. I don't know if I put it above Super Mario Maker though.
I don't know if I'd put it above Tomb Raider, but I would be like on the like either okay with either way with that one. Honestly, I don't.
I'm good with above Indivisible. That's a good spot.
Okay.
All right.
Do you think it should go below Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm like, yeah, I don't care either way.
Yeah.
Above or below Tomb Raider. I think they're both actually really fantastic games. So. Okay, I'm okay with that then. Below Tomb Raider, at number 55 on the list. So that puts Yooka-Laylee in the Impossible Lair, in some good territory here. Number 55 above it, we got 2 spots above it is Super Mario Maker at number 53. Tomb Raider, the 2013 Tomb Raider to be clear, the reboot at number 54. 55 is now Yooka-Laylee in the Impossible Lair. 56 is Indivisible. That was a Game Club game. If you want to hear us talk about that, you can listen to the episode. You can find it pretty easily, but
a couple months ago
on SoundCloud. And then 57, Super Mario Brothers, the original game. So that's it for the list. But before we go, I just want to say thank you guys for listening here. I really, really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed the Jump Up Supercast Game Club specifically, I didn't make sure. If you do like the Jump Up Supercast in general, but if you enjoyed the Jump Up Supercast Game Club and what we do, make sure you check out. You can check us out. You can check out other Game Club episodes. If we played a lot of games here on the Game Club, so maybe there's some other episodes that you're interested in, some other games you want to hear about. You can check us out on your favorite podcast listening service of your choice. We're on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. New episodes of the Game Club go up every other Thursday, and normal episodes of the Jump Up Supercast, we talk about gaming news and just what we've been playing, just game shit in general. That goes up every single Monday. Give us a follow, give us a like or a share. We'd appreciate that, and feel free to let us know what you thought about Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair if you've ever played it. Let us know if you beat it. Let us know if you beat the Impossible Lair with 0 fucking Bs, because we'll shout you out on the fucking podcast, because goddamn, you're a fucking legend if you did that. So let us know if you need help with the Impossible Lair. You can find us. You can hit us up. We do have a Twitter at Jump Up Supercast. You can message us on Facebook or even Instagram, because we're on all of those. So we'd be happy to help you out. We'd be happy to give you some tips. So also follow those to stay up to date on everything Jump Up Supercast related. And if you do like us as well, we do have a Patreon. So $1 a month, you can support us for that cheap. And you can also join our Discord for that and talk to us about games like this one or whatever we're playing. You can also get a chance to choose one of our Game Club games every round. So spoiler alert here, Ills is picking next, but then it's a Patreon pick. So it's coming up. If you do want to get in there and pick a game for us to play. And sometimes we're even streaming on twitch.tv/JumpUpSupercast. So if you want to watch us play games there, you can. And as always, I want to thank Ills and Noah for playing video games with me and everybody for listening. But before we go, Ills, what are we playing next? Your turn.
All right, so for people who don't know, we don't tell each other what our next picks are gonna be. So
Sure.
sometimes these like weird coincidences happen. Like with this game, I had no idea this game was gonna come out. Yooka-Laylee, and strangely enough, the game I'm gonna pick came out on the exact same day that Yooka-Laylee came out, and it's also a licensed game. So we're gonna play John Wick Hex.
Oh,
Never heard of
shit.
it, so I have no idea what to expect.
Have you watched the John Wick movies?
I know. Oh, it's John Wick. I know I haven't, but I know of them.
Okay, so your assignment is to watch all those movies and play the game.
Oh boy.
Noah, good news. I own all 3 of them, so
Sweet.
You're gonna love them. Don't worry.
they're fucking awesome. So that's exciting. That's all. That what a fucking coincidence that they came out on the same day. That's fucking wild.
Yep.
That's crazy. That's cool though. All right. Well, catch us in 2 weeks' time when we play. What was the subtitle? It was John Wick what?
Hex.
Hex. John Wick Hex. We're gonna play that, and so join us then to hear what we think about that game. As always, thanks for listening, and go out there, play some video games, and be nice.